the front valve block, okay, so the ABC system, I've been able to figure out kind of what's going on where, okay. What I do know, it says FB2 and FB1 there. Now these are the feed for both sides of the front struts, okay. So this one on the left, FB2, this pipe comes down here, and if you follow it, it comes and leads to the driver, sorry, the right hand side, the driver UK. Sorry if I'm saying driver and if you're in the US or Europe, okay. It's the right hand side. Now the other one, the FB1, okay, this pipe here, so you've got these two pipes here, the one on the right hand side which says FB1, this is a bit of a strange one, but it comes down and goes back underneath the radiator following the right hand side. But this does something a bit odd. So it comes down, comes along and has this little C-bend and comes back on itself. I don't know why, but it comes back on itself and goes up, and this feeds, you see it coming from here, it comes up to this one here, and the bottom pipe goes to the left hand side strut. Okay, so these two here feed the struts, which makes good sense because you can see the solenoids are directly underneath. Okay, so what then feeds this block here? Well, you have, if this block here is controlling the struts, you have this pipe here, this one here, and that pipe goes up into the engine bay. So I assume that that is going to the pump. Okay, so what must come round must go in, feed the main block. And you have this pipe here, comes out off the block, and that just joins this block on the top. And that block on the top has two pipes. One goes here to the cooler and back to the reservoir. And then the other one comes out and is this middle pipe here. And then that goes into the engine block. So, where does that go? Who knows? Okay, that I don't know. But I do know that these two are for the driver and the passenger sides, no matter what side, both sides. So they're the two front. Now the rear valve block, whether it's fed from here or a separate pipe from the pump, I don't know. But what I do know is that this is involved, okay? We have a pressure regulator underneath the, well, behind the front wheel. And these two pipes do go to the rear. This pipe, I'm unsure of yet. It's stuck to the subframe. So where this directly leads to, I don't know. But I assume you've got some form of some pressure regulation, and these two come out, and this then goes to the rear, okay? Because I follow these pipes down and they go to the rear valve block, which I will be looking at next. Well, hope this is some help. It is a bit of a can of worms, really. Please don't take this as the pretty much divine guide. I am just trying to get a picture of what goes where, and this is my assumption of what happens. Oh yes, one thing also, you've got this big ball, the black ball underneath, this pressure accumulator. I think that's also fed from, seems to be the main brains, this block here. So I'm not even pointing to it. This main block with the solenoids is the brains, and you've got this extra pipe underneath, which then goes to this ball underneath, some pressure accumulator thing, I believe. I don't know, I'm not an expert. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to give this a good clean. I'm going to start taking some of these pipes off. Okay, now I've got a 17mm here. These are needed to remove, sorry, these are needed to remove these pipes here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the 2 struts for the front, and then I am going to remove this feed from the engine bay, and then I should be able to release, well, remove the valve block itself. Now the valve block itself is held on by a few bolts. You can see there's a few nuts. Sorry, there's one at the top there, I believe. I do think there is one under here. I think there's a 13 under there somewhere, and from the other side, but I'll get to that in a moment. Please, before you release these, make sure you release the pressure. You've got the bleed nipples. I've taken the driver's one off already. I am going to bleed this one first with an 11mm spanner. Get that nut released, relieve the pressure. If there is pressure in here and you open this, it's going to squirt you. It's not very nice. Okay, so please make sure that the pressure has been released. So to move this valve block, there is a 10mm nut there at the top. I am going to undo this. Okay. Release this. Whoops, not there. Yeah. Okay, so that holds the cradle at the top. Then there is a 13mm. Now this is awkward to get to because normally you would have the aircon dryer here. Okay, now this nut is here. Okay, let's see if we can get it. Okay, it's down there. I'm going to put a spanner on it and I'm going to show you where it is roughly. There. Okay, it is here. And then you obviously just need to start turning. I need to put this ratchet on to make it easier. See if I get it the right way around first. Okay, and then start twisting this. Now this isn't awkward, as I said, awkward to get to because that little hole up here, that is where the aircon dryer normally sits. And I can show you from above what I'm doing because I've stripped loads of things already. I am here. The nut is holding this cradle. This cradle here is your valve block. I am basically holding it onto the chassis leg here. So how you would access this without all the stuff I've removed? Oh dear, I don't know. Good luck. Oh, I was a bit mistaken. I have taken that out. I've got that one out and there's another one. And it's there. Okay, so here is the valve block here. There is another nut holding the cradle on. Up there, that's another 13. Take that off and this whole thing would drop off. Now, you got to be careful these pipes. You can see that one here is a bit worse for wear. Okay, these are when you have a split in or a leak, then it's probably due to one of these pipes which will blow, and finding it, well, is getting it up and pressurizing the system, really running the engine. But you don't let these run dry, because if you do, then you're in trouble. These pumps will break very easily if they are basically bled dry. So as soon as you see a leak, do not drive or keep it going, okay, unless you know how much is coming up and you know that your reservoir is full. And there we have it, it's out. So that's what it looks like when it's out. And there are some ABC lines that I removed as well.